What is up, everyone? This is Dylan Morgan, aka Vanilla Sugar, and we got some more things to talk about today. Yesterday was a crazy news day for the sports world. A few NFL players being moved around, I'm sure you heard of. A crazy college basketball game last night, and as always, an entertaining night for the NBA with high scores and LeBron James dominating as usual. First thing we're going to talk about is Odell Beckham Jr. got traded to the Browns for a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and Jabril Peppers to the Giants for Odell Beckham Jr. Um, this is a great pickup for the Browns, who were on the rise last season. They went 7-8-1 last season, and they're after a long drought of not being a successful team after going through a lot of quarterbacks. They got a great young quarterback in Baker Mayfield, who had a great rookie season, won Rookie of the Year, I believe, and averaged what was it? The Browns averaged were the 13th in yards last season, and on their offense, and then Odell averaged 87.7 yards per game last season. So you already have a pretty good offense to work with, and you have an excellent receiver joining Jarvis Landry and Chubb as a running back, and Mayfield at quarterback. Just great offense, and it's gonna be an offense you don't want to face as a defense. Next, another big name that we've been waiting to see where he's headed. Le'Veon Bell signed a 4-year, $52 million deal with the Jets. I guess the Jets were the front runners for a while. You've been hearing about the Jets and Le'Veon Bell's name connected. Le'Veon in 2017, before last season, where he sat out due to disagreement on contract, he had 1,291 rushing yards and 655 receiving yards in 2017. So it's just an all-around offensive asset, not just a great running back, but also can help you out in the receiving game and really help you mix up your plays. The Jets went 4-12 last year and were 29th in offensive yards. So they really need Le'Veon Bell as a good offensive player. They got a young quarterback in Josh Darnold right now, as is, and so I think we're looking forward to see Le'Veon back, since he didn't play all last season, and looking to see what the Jets can do now that they have that great offensive player added to their team. Another big one, this might not be big in everyone's mind, but I am a 49er fan, so I thought I'd mention that they traded for Dee Ford. I did not find the details to what the Chiefs got back, but Dee Ford is a great pass rusher. He had 13 sacks last season, and he's a great addition to the 49ers, who already have a pretty good defense. They were 13th in yards allowed last season. They have a lot of good defensive linemen, so having Dee Ford running in from the sides and running in down the middle, it's going to really help the 49ers defense, who the 49ers are getting a lot of good players back. Last year, injuries summed up their whole season. Their offense is going to be better this season, assumingly. Richard Sherman coming back, had a few injuries last season. And so a big pickup for the 49ers, who, by the way, have gone for all the big names that you've seen in the NFL news. They've their team's been linked with Antonio Brown. It's been reported that they never made a deal for Antonio, but I think that they were the first team that I saw in Odell news. I saw 49ers were trying to trade for him, and now a few days later, Odell goes to the Browns. 49ers apparently offered Le'Veon a monster deal, or we're about to give Le'Veon a huge deal to sign with them right after he signed with the Jets. But still a big pickup, getting Dee Ford come back. What you call it? Came out and played great last year in defense. 13 sacks. That's it for football for right now. A few signings today. I forget who I heard, but I saw some names flying around. That'll be probably on tomorrow's podcast. So now we're going to go to college basketball. Last night, championship week is really all the good games. ACC tournament starts today. So today is the really beginning of championship week. A lot of the better teams in tournaments. But last night, at one point, the country's best college team, Gonzaga Bulldogs, played in the championship of the WCC tournament, I believe. And they lost to the second seed St. Mary's 60-47, which came as a huge shock considering how powerful Gonzaga was compared to the rest of the country, let alone a team like St. Mary's in their own conference. St. Mary's obviously went out there and proved themselves, and I think are early front runner to be a Loyola Chicago of this March Madness. So it's exciting to see a upset like that before you even get to the real tournament. This is championship. Usually you see the best teams just take care of business and win that championship. But great for St. Mary's punching that ticket, taking down such a strong team. That's got to give them confidence going into the tournament. Also gets them into the tournament for sure. Jordan Ford of St. Mary's led with 17 points. NBA prospect Rui Hachimura had 9 points, 5 rebounds. So he's a great player, though. I'd watch him one time. I'm thinking he's going to be a lottery pick as of right now, but going back more to college basketball, Joe Lunardi still has, even after that loss last night, still has Gonzaga as number 1 seed in the West. So professionals, I guess, don't take that loss too seriously. But if this is any preview to March Madness, Gonzaga, they got to step it up. They got upset at the last night, and if they want that championship, there's a lot harder teams than St. Mary's they're going to have to go through if they want that national championship. So, but exciting for sports fans to see that an upset already. I think we all love an upset unless we're Gonzaga fans, but everyone else is like, okay, this is a little interesting in the sports world and something for me to talk about today. Now to the NBA, some stats for you. LeBron scores 36 and grabs 10 rebounds in a win versus the Bulls, 123-107. I think a good game to get the Lakers back into some rhythm. It's not looking like they're going to make the playoffs at this point, really. I don't even know what the chances are. I don't know the numbers behind it, but you just look at them on paper. I'm seeing the Western Conference teams above them competing way harder. They did this against the Bulls, so this is no implication that they got better, but just a win to get them back in rhythm. And LeBron scoring 36 is no easy feat, and it should not be overlooked. Nothing big there except the big number by LeBron. The Bucks beat. Oh Jesus, I don't have who they beat. They won 130-113. Oh, the Pelicans. That's who they face. The Bucks beat the Pelicans 130-113. Giannis scored 24 and Middleton scored 23. So, big points by their two best players. The Bucks are looking like they have a good supporting cast around Giannis, not just Giannis, to make it far in the playoffs, and that's good to see. You always can see those good playoff teams because every guy on their team has talent, and they come out of nowhere and help out. That's what I think looks like a good playoff team. You can't be taken seriously just because you have one good player. As you can see with the Lakers, LeBron can't do it. It takes a good supporting cast. I think of a mixture of young guys who can play a lot of minutes and veterans who can come in and do a certain thing that the team is lacking at that moment in the game. And I think the Bucks have that. I like guys like Eric Bledsoe and Brook Lopez on that team. I think they're good at helping out and doing the little stuff. Brook Lopez shooting great, by the way. He's having a great season. I thought he was almost done with his career. When he was playing for the Lakers, you kind of forgot about him. Played great with the Nets and then kind of disappeared. But here he is now That's a very useful asset for the Bucks. On to the next game. The Spurs win. DeRozan scores 33, Aldridge 28. They beat the Mavericks on TNT last night. DeRozan with a pretty good performance there. Spurs are looking like playoffs are a good possibility for them. You never know with the Spurs. They're a strong team, so to just make the playoffs is probably good for them, considering the names they have. Their records really don't matter. They're going to compete. DeRozan and Aldridge, they're made for the playoffs. I wouldn't count them out because of their seeds. Our next game, the Trailblazers beat the Clippers 125-104. CJ McCollum scored 35. He can do that. He's a little bit less of a Klay Thompson, but that kind of guy that could just light it up, and he's got the shooting where if he's given the ball all night and he stays hot, he's going to score that many points. Very slippery with dribbling. I watched his highlights from last night. That's where he beats you, is his quickness. A little slim guy that can really get around with dribbling and pull up from anywhere and just hit it, especially on nights like these. So big win for the Trailblazers, who I believe are one spot ahead of the Clippers. So, and the Clippers are tough to beat. So big win by the Trailblazers. And that's all the headlines we got for today. I hope you all enjoyed my opinions, some news maybe you haven't heard, maybe didn't understand the full story, but I'm going to try and stay updated with NFL free agency. It seems to be moving good right now. Usually not good at any other sports except NBA, but this is good practice right now. NFL free agency. Finding very interesting, crazy offseason for the NFL with Antonio Brown, Odell, and Le'Veon switching teams. Hopefully it stays that fun and we get some more news for you from the NFL. Baseball is almost starting up. They're in spring training right now. I'm not going to talk about spring training games, but that will also be another sport I'm talking about. So I know I've really done a lot of NBA, but I'm trying to expand my sports. So please comment down below any stories you'd like to talk about, any sports you'd like me to talk about. I appreciate you all for watching. Hope you all have a good evening. We're maybe making some more gaming videos. Definitely by the weekend, there will be more gaming videos out. Hope you all have a great night. Vanilla Sugar signing out.